Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down.
It has been long overdue to expose the truth that the Democrats and Republicans are sucking the life out of America's liberty and usurping our rights at every turn. Now is the time to seize our civil liberties and take back our individual rights. Here on Southern Liberty, we will expose it all. With his musket on his back, the Declaration of Independence in one hand, and the Constitution in the other, here's your host, Roderick Threets.
Happy Monday, everybody. Appreciate y'all stopping in for a little quick link. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into this evening besides the federal stuff. But I need to just go ahead and put this on out here on Front Street because this is going to be a discussion of consequence, of disclosure, of so-called coincidences. Like, we're going to go on down through there this evening because we got to say what's got to be said. You already know how we do. If you're listening right now, if you got a minute, you got a finger on social media, someone go ahead and share this piece on social media, whatever, gets drag some folk over here because we about to take y'all on down through there because you know what? This government, this federal government is setting us up to hand over our rights to them right now. They are setting us up to hand over our rights to us. I mean, to them. So they can be the almighty God over man, right? Forget about Genesis 9:5, right? Forget about that, right? Forget about what Paul said, right? Forget if you're a Christian. Forget about what Paul said, right? This is it. This right here, what we about to take y'all down through here today, is the true existential threat to liberty. Now let's focus on today. First of all. First thing I'm going to say is make sure if you're not subscribed, make sure you do that. Check out Southern Liberty anywhere you get your podcasts, right? You want to try to listen to it live, make sure you download the Spreaker app and you search for Southern Liberty and Chasing Life, Liberty, and Monarchy, and you can catch them live when they come on. You can check, my beautiful website that's someone created for me, roderickthreets.com. Again, that's roderickthreets.com, first and last name.com. You can find it, click, do the click things, and you can find all the podcasts, everything else there you want to, and all that whole bit. Appreciate you. But we're gonna get into it, Miss Kell. We about to get on now and take them on down through there real quick, down from the low country all the way up to the top of the Appalachians, all the way back across to the plateau in Washington. We about to take them all the way there. First of all, those of y'all in Nashville, Davidson County, and the surrounding areas, Davidson County, prayers for y'all coming down here out of the deep, dirty, out of the Isthmus of Florida. It's unfortunate what happened at the Covenant School there and just on the south side of Nashville. But I'm gonna, you know what, Miss Cal, I'm gonna go all the way in and I'm gonna be very insensitive when I do this because I need to point something out. I need to point something directly out. Just like, let's look at Uvalde a second. Let's go back to Uvalde a second, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. This individual, this Uvalde individual, right? Mm-hmm. Sat here. He was a cross-dresser. It wasn't confirmed if he was transgender or not, right? Mm-hmm. Right? It wasn't confirmed, but he was a cross-dresser. He did all the things, right? Then he walked into a locked school and shot up kids. Yeah. Right? Now, hold on. Y'all rock with me a second now. Y'all rock with me a minute here, all right? We had the shooting in Colorado at the gay club, right? Mm-hmm. Right? And they tried to say that the guy said, oh, he can't be non-binary. Oh, no, there's no way he's non-binary. Yeah, y'all see a trend here so far? It ain't no longer white supremacy doing the school shootings, right? And all these shootings up, right? So now let's come to present-day Covenant School in Nashville, Tennessee. Self-proclaimed transgender woman, right? Walks into a locked school and shoots people, Tell me, listen, there's coincidences amongst us common folk. Ain't no coincidences when it comes to the government.
No.
And I need people to get out of their mind a second and not be sensitive and irrational to what I'm telling you. Right? This right here is another government hit upon your liberty to try to get you to succumb to the emotion of people dying because of a gun, when the individual that let the guy in the front door is the daughter of a reporter of a local Nashville media outlet there, and just happened to walk out of the building when the shooting started. Now, you can't tell me there's no coincidence here. This is all planned the fuck out. People died because of a government plot. Yep, I'm saying it all the way there. Y'all can call me conspiracy all you want to, but the trend is here. You can no longer ignore this. The government is now using the weakened minds of transgendered people to go out and commit these heinous crimes. And you have that whole community, Miss Kell, right? You got that whole damn community saying, oh, they couldn't be trans. They couldn't be non-binary. We just don't do that. Bitch, y'all got a problem to deal with. One, you got the patriarchy to deal with. I'll see you squirm out of that one. And you got the white supremacy narrative to deal with here. Y'all can't crawl out of that one either. Y'all have created a paradigm, right, where you weaponize it against people you don't like politically, and now the chickens, the roosters have come home to roost right in your front yard. Now let's hear what they got to say about this.
It's frustrating because it's like, okay, automatically ban guns, ban guns, ban guns, ban guns, ban guns. Nobody's even talking about the fact that this person was trans. Nobody's talking about the fact that there are mental issues involved. Ban the guns, ban the guns, ban the guns, ban the guns, ban the guns. Kiss my ass. How about you start looking at the mental state of some of these people who are buying guns?
Look. The government is capitalizing on this gender dysphoria. Oh, gender dysphoria, that's anti-trans. That's you're transphobic, you're homophobic if you mention gender dysphoria. And the government is again, right? Let's talk about it. We're going to talk about the whole thing. We're going to run y'all through the whole thing. Let's talk about MK Ultra a second and what that did. This is 2023's version of MK Ultra is what they're doing. And what's his name that wrote the book in 1997 said in his book he wrote. I can't think the guy's name off the top of my head right now because I'm running down the dark alley real quick with this, right? Right? That the government would use people for mass shootings, right? He said that in his book, they would use people for mass shootings to confiscate guns from you.
Well, look what they're trying to do. And look what they say after each and every one of these. Each and every single one.
Gun control. Oh, look at the guns. But we're ignoring the fact that the government has allowed the propagation of mental disorders in our society and not wanting to treat them. Here's where we are, right? Because look, this is what they've done, Miss Kell. They have for a century and a half said people with my skin tone are predators, super predators, no good, gypsies, all kinds of different damn names. You name it, everything but the child of God. And now that they've perfected that and made quote unquote people with my skin tone docile and don't want to rise up against the government but stand with the white supremacy, they've gone on to another demographic. And what they've done, they have gone to the white suburban kid is what they've done. And they've used the assault rifle to do it. So that's a twofer on this one.
Well, it's a twofer on this, and it's one of those things that I think people need to really understand, that what we're dealing with is a government that is more than willing to prey upon those who are having mental issues. We no longer have the large asylums. We no longer have a lot of the mental health care that we had.
No.
People are being diagnosed with things that don't freaking exist.
Right.
And they're not being diagnosed for what is there.
We are living in
gender dysphoria is an actual thing.
Yes, it's in the DSM.
And it's not just something that, oh no, you can't talk about that or you're homophobic. It's being literally encouraged in our kids.
Yeah.
They're telling these kids in school, oh, well, you know, you may not be a little boy or you may not be a little girl. You may feel like the opposite sex today. Mm-hmm. We're going to allow that and we're going to encourage it and we're not going to tell mommy and daddy.
Right. And this is this is the first time I've said this out loud, and it shouldn't need to be said, but I need to say this out loud for the millions of people that's going to hear this. Right? Y'all need to leave the fucking kids alone. You need to leave these kids alone, because let me tell you something. You're going to get out here. I wouldn't worry about the fathers too much. I wouldn't worry about the fathers too much. I would be worrying about the women folk that take care of children. And I'm not saying mothers, because there's grandparents that take care of children also. Right?
And aunts.
So, right. Yes. So these women folk that take care of children and protect children on a daily basis, those are the people you don't want to fire up. Because one thing about a woman I have learned in my 47 years of life is they are damn good shots. They're better than most men in some cases, right? Don't as they say, don't fuck around and find out when you mess with a woman and her child or her children or people she's caring for, because she will fuck you up. Mm-hmm. More, y'all think the American Revolution was something. Y'all thought 1776 was something. You start messing with these women that get pissed off. You messing with their children. Look, they will cut down every man and put his dick in the damn dirt until they get to the person that's perpetrating the problem.
Exactly, and there would be no holds barred. You want to talk about Armageddon? Y'all keep pulling this shit.
Yep.
And it's really odd, because most people are not looking at this and saying, wait a minute. For generations, our parents have told us, when someone tells you not to tell your parents, that's a problem.
That's stranger danger. That's what we were taught. Folks in our age group.
What we were taught was don't talk to strangers, and keeping secrets from your parents is not a good thing. Yeah,
that was a whole part of the stranger danger thing. Like, nope, we don't do this, because again, at the end of the day, and my teachers that are listening, no disrespect to you, my educators, no disrespect to you.
No,
but look,
absolutely not.
I'm looking at it from a father standpoint. You are a stranger.
Yes.
Even though you are with my children, you were with my children 6-7 hours a day, you are still a stranger.
Yeah.
That's it.
You are, and the fact of the matter is even relatives fall under that suspicion. So we can't just say it's just teachers.
Right.
Don't go near Uncle so and so, because he's going to do something. He touches everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Every family has somebody like that, or they know a family that has somebody like that.
Yep. That old uncle at the barbecue. Mm-hmm.
Uncle at the barbecue that nobody wants to go around. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where when you get it from the schools, that's a major problem, because you can't trust the schools anymore to keep your kids safe.
No.
At the most basic level of safety.
That's on all fronts. Like let's keep this 100. Let's keep this 100,000. Let's keep it Woodrow, right? At one point in time, you could leave your school doors open. When I was growing up, right? When I went to elementary school on Jacksonville Beach and out in Baker County, Florida, right? You could leave the school doors wide open, no problem, man. No problem. You can go in and out the door. You didn't have kids running off from school. Now them suckers got to be bolted shut. You know what I'm saying? It's like a prison, because one, folk can't act right, and number two, I'm sorry, people don't want to defend the school if it comes under siege by a mass shooter. I'm just saying, there was a point in time, right? We didn't have this issue.
Yeah.
Right. There was a point in time when an issue, and countries that developed the issue, they solved it real quick. Look at Israel. They carry AK-47s in the classroom. They ain't even playing with you.
But you look at it, when we were in school, how many pickup trucks did you see in the parking lot with gun racks in the back window?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
We didn't need to handle the issue. We already had it.
Yep. Yeah, you come up if you
we
want
had
to.
that bitch handled.
Yep, you come up here if you want to. We're going to sneak out that window where he at. We all coming in watching in there like Minutemen, be like, what? Who you shooting at? Oh, no, not up in here. I'll ask you to leave. I'm going to ask you to leave before you pop off a bullet. Because let me tell you, you pop off one already, I'm telling you, all those good old boys would have been pulled up in there 20, 30 deep, and you would have got at least 40 of them. Yeah. You got 40 of them, and that's it. And the sheriff been like, it's all good. Bag him up, Dano.
Bag him, because you got to solve the problem. We don't have nothing to worry about here. So somebody clean that blood up.
Yeah.
Mrs. Smith said that's making a mess on her tile. Clean that up.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like it's getting this school situation. Yeah. Is too much. It's getting too much, and again, I'm still pointing all 10 of my fingers and my 10 toes at the federal government for allowing this to be propagated and handcuffing the states from trying to do something about it. Right? You have one governor that's trying to do something about it, Ron DeSantis. He's trying to do something about it, and every time he turns around, he's looking at a lawsuit sponsored by DOJ. And it's like, federal government, you got no business in this in the first place.
Yeah.
No business, but you want to protect. Oh, you want to protect the transgender people. You want to do this, but you're using them as pawns. Oh my God, it's sick.
Well, and it's not just the transgender people. It's the children. Oh my God, we can't have one more child die. Well, then stop killing them. Right.
That's it right there. She said what she said. That's it. Stop killing them. Stop using, right, the current, the wide, like, outside, you know what I'm saying, mental issue when it surrounds this thing. And again, no disrespect to my transsexual community. No disrespect to y'all, right? But a lot of you have admitted, right? A lot of you have admitted there's some mental capacity, there's some chemical imbalances going on there, and I respect y'all for that, and I respect y'all for standing up against the idiots that radicalize this and calling out the government for what they're doing with this. I applaud y'all for that. Right? Because someone needs to say something besides us, quote unquote, what they would label as cis people, to say anything about this. And I'm sitting back looking at this like, look, I got a granddaughter about to start school. You know what I'm saying? And she'll up in there long. I can tell you that much, but still, for the time being, she's going to be up in there. I want to know that I don't have to walk up there with my M4 and stand up there with my M4 to watch somebody even suspected to walking in, because at that point in time, I'd have an obligation. Right? There's over 500-600 babies in that damn building, and I'll be damned if someone let one in. I'll tell you what, I will meet you with equal, if not excessive, force. And I won't care. I won't care one bit. Right? And that's how teachers need to get. I'm sorry, teachers, but guess what? You're going to have to buck up, because what the government has created is this crazy monarchical society at thinking you can identify as a cat, a hawk, eagle, or what the hell ever you want to be, right? You can't identify by something that you have no relation to. You can't. You can't do that at all. Period. You can't do that one lick. You cannot do that one lick. So you gotta let that go.
When our schools, our public schools, I'm not saying this one because this was a Presbyterian school from everything I understand.
Yes, that's correct.
When our public schools are allowing litter boxes in the bathrooms for students to use.
Right.
We're not saying to kids, pretend is really good. It's really good to have a great imagination. Write that down. Draw it out. Tell me a story. No.
Right.
Now we're encouraging these kids to be mentally ill.
Yeah.
Do you know what kind of psychotherapy bills these kids are going to have when they're adults?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
It's insane. And we are the ones as adults, we're the ones who are perpetrating this. We're allowing it to happen.
Right.
And our government is paying them to do it.
Yep.
Grant here, grant there. Oh, well, you can't get that money unless you do this. It floors me.
Right.
That a rational society tolerates this bullshit.
Well, that's the thing, right? We've gotten to a point where, it's forced tolerance because people are afraid to be labeled something.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, forced and enforced, yes.
Right. And I'm like this. I tell people like this. They say, Rod, you're afraid to be called a transphobe. I said, I've been called everything but a child of God.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was like, it's like, I told one guy, I was like, let me tell you something. Growing up as a kid in the Deep South, right?
Yep.
We're talking late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s,
yep.
Right?
Yep.
People will still down here in the South walk around calling me a nigger. Right to my damn face. Like it's white like outside. You think I'm worried about being called a transphobe? You think I'm worried about being called a transphobe? Right? Or homophobe? You think I'm worried about that when these people running around calling me nigger had shotguns? You think I'm afraid of someone calling me a transphobe? You kidding me? You better get a pair of steel balls. And you better put them on if you're going to come running up on me like that, trying to scare me into some conformity. Are you kidding me? These people out here that propagate this have no sense of reality in some people. Mm-hmm. When they try to talk to them and try to force them into some sort of compliance of speech. I'm sorry.
I think that's a huge issue with this too, is the whole compliance thing. You will conform to our recognized method of speech patterns. You will describe people the way they want to be described rather than what reality tells you they are.
Right.
You will do this and you will do that. How about no? How about I am a human being, I have civil rights, I have a First Amendment. I also have a Second Amendment, which means I can back up my First Amendment.
That's right.
And that means I can tell you to go to hell because I'm not going to conform to anyone's standards.
That's right. That's exactly correct.
That's not my job on this planet. My job on this planet is to learn and to teach if I have the capability.
Mm-hmm. But I will not receive your forced indoctrination into what you think is reality or your norm, because guess what? You're about to hit a bad mistake. And it's gonna
walk
be
up on me like that, you're gonna hit one hell of a bad mistake.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we got to get louder about this whole situation, right? And and you know what? You might sound like a cuckoo ball when you say it. You might sound like a cuckoo ball when you say it, but you have to call out the obvious. There is no way all of a sudden transgender or cross-dressing people are doing mass shootings. You got to call a spade at this point, people. You got to call it. What the hell is really going down? You're not going to get any papers behind it, right? You're not going to get any of that behind it. And I'm going to straight up put it out on Front Street, right? It very well could be the CIA SOG doing it. I mean, because they can operate on domestic soil because they are not technically part of the CIA. But anyway, I digress. Y'all look up Special Operations Group and y'all go tell me what you find out. But
and I'm not even going that far. But when you take somebody to the point from childhood, and you take them to the point where they completely believe that they are the opposite gender, and that someone has insulted them or hurt their feelings very badly by calling them by their former name or by their former gender, that they lash out with a firearm? Right. There's something wrong. There's something very wrong with that.
Yep. Sure.
And I honestly think that kind of anger is being encouraged.
Yes. I mean, look.
I think it's being sought. I think it's something that is being. I think it may be part of the grooming process here.
Look. Check this out. Right. There was an individual. Let me see. Let me find it real quick. This is what I'm talking about right here. Right. Yeah. I was on Twitter. I was perusing Twitter as usual. Right. And I come across an individual. Mm-hmm. And this individual says, NBC has ID'd the Nashville shooter as, I'm not going to say the name because we're not glorifying shooters here. We ain't going to glorify evil, right?
No.
Who identifies as transgender and had no previous criminal record. Nashville is home to the Daily Wire, a hub of anti-trans activity by Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, and Michael Knowles.
So?
They tweeted that. This person, this Benjamin Ryan tweeted this. I'm like, wow, you talking about setting yourself up for libel. Like, that ain't going away. He deleted the tweet, but that ain't going away.
That's going away. And the fact of the matter is why on earth would you bring the Daily Wire into this? They had nothing to do with it.
Right. But this is the derangement, right? This is what happens, right? This is what when people, right? And let's be clear here, right? When people are on their transgender journey, right? Whatever you want to call it, right? Which they have the liberty to do so, right? And seek the appropriate help and things like that, right? Be you, do what you do, boo. Just don't try to reconform society in the way you think it see fit, because that's where you're going to get pushback, and that's where everybody pushes back. Because you're going outside of the actual norm and creating something else to try to make it its own axiom of normalcy, when that's not how that works. Because you have to defy biology. But anyway, right? What I'm saying is, when transgender people or anybody from the LGBT community, right, go on social media, they're constantly being gaslit by shit like that.
Yeah.
Right? They're constantly saying, oh no, look, these Republicans. See, basically how I read that tweet was, oh, it's a transgender, or how I said, he's a transgender man, but the Daily Wire triggered him into going into a locked school to shoot people. That's exactly what that said. And this is the gaslighting that the left has perfected to a T. They will twist something a certain way, and they, oh, look at it. Because, and remember too, though, right? This comes off of the heels, right, of one, Governor Bill Lee signing into law that transition surgery for minors is done, and the banning. Y'all listen to me closely. The banning of drag shows in public spaces.
Yes.
Right? People still run around here saying, oh, no, he banned drag shows in Tennessee. No, he banned them in public places. Public library, public school, or public places ran by and under the jurisdiction of the government. You have no right to that property per se in certain contexts. Right? But then we start getting into the exclusionary rule and all that stuff. That's a whole nother story, whole nother predicament, right? Based on the Fourth Amendment. That's another story. But he didn't ban it from, you know what I'm saying? You can, if you want to take your child to a drag show, you can. Private property. Take them to a bar, right?
As long as they're over the age of 18.
Right. Right. But here's the thing, right? You got also remember too, right? Dry bars, right? Kids can go into dry bars in Tennessee. There's a few.
I had forgotten about that there are dry bars out there.
Yeah, there are dry bars in Tennessee still, right? Like Lynchburg, Tennessee. All the bars there are dry. That's a dry county. Yep. Right.
There used to be dry bars all over the place in Texas as well, because you had dry counties, and you had places where you could bring your own. Right. They didn't serve it there. They'd bring you the glass, but that was it.
Right. That's exactly.
But that's neither here nor there. It's it really aggravated me. I started hearing this story today, and the first thing that they said was it was a woman shooter, and I'm thinking, okay, with two so-called assault rifles, they're not assault rifles, and a handgun. And then later comes out the detail that I have not seen in some of these articles, that this person went in and proceeded to shoot up the church and then went into the school.
Yep. Sure did.
And according to the report that I heard from the Raleigh-Durham station, the news station there, this person is extremely religious and had attended this school. If you are extremely religious and you went to this school, into this church, why would you go in and shoot it up?
Right. Very, very fair point. But see, here's the thing, right?
And why would you go against the Ten Commandments and murder in the first place?
Look. You want me to tie something else into this? Didn't that old biddy on The View about 3 weeks ago said, what do we do about the pro-life people? And she basically condoned, propped up murder of Christians. And I'm just saying, this shit is not, y'all, this shit is not by accident. And I'm not sitting here conspiracy theorizing anything.
Theory at this point, guys.
It's literally these people's minds are so permeable and impressionable. They'll take anything. Oh, Jane Fonda, she's an activist, right? Remember it was Sunny, and I went back and I watched that whole thing, that whole part, right? And how Sunny Hudson, Houston, whatever her damn name is. Hostin. Yeah, Hostin, right? She sat there and said with her hands, explicitly, this is activist Jane, like giving props, say this is what activists do, right? That tone of voice. I'm like, they sit here and just perpetuated that right across the airwaves in front of people. This is what activists do, but not the Republican activists. They don't do that. They do the evil things. It's okay if we do it.
There are no Republican activists, according to them. We're all extremists. We're all terrorists.
Right. They're not correct. They're the activists and everybody else are extremists and terrorists.
Yeah.
But the way Sonny Hostin said that, I'm like, damn, son of a bitch, here we go. Right. And then I started, when I started finding out that the daughter of the reporter of a Nashville media place was a secretary that happened not to be in the building when the guy went in to go shoot.
That's interesting.
Right. I'm just saying.
That's an interesting detail.
Right now, and I go back to Uvalde. Right, how'd the kid get into the school at Uvalde if it's locked in? How'd he get in? Who left the door? Oh, someone left the door open, right? No.
Okay, well, and the thing is this one supposedly shot through the door to get in. I'm not sure what happened at Uvalde, and I don't think they've ever released that information.
Because they know what happened. We've all put it together. They don't want to make us right. They don't want to. They don't want to. They don't want the citizens of the appropriate states that called this out, right, to throw egg in their face. So they will not release it. But I'm telling you, this thing right here, and you're gonna shoot an AR-15 through a lock to get in. That makes no sense.
No,
for them to say that makes no sense, because a 223 on a lock, okay, yeah, but those locks are steel.
The doors are steel, for crying out loud.
So you're going to shoot a 223 through a steel lock?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, because they're not generally lightweight locks, y'all, and these doors are not lightweight either.
No, not at all. Not at all. We gotta pay bills real quick. So when we come back, a little bit more discussion on this, and then we're gonna run through a couple things, and then we're gonna run on up out of here. But we had to address this Nashville thing and put our opinions out there in the internet ether. So y'all sit back, cheese, wine, and crackers, courtesy of Southern Liberty, and we'll be back in 6.
I'm Liz Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks ending mixed after First Citizens agreed to buy large parts of Silicon Valley Bank, the tech-focused financial institution that collapsed this month. First Citizens shares surging on the news. The deal comes as investors become more optimistic about the banking industry. Financials were among the biggest gainers, with regional banks leading the charge. The Dow rising 195 points, the Nasdaq down 55, S&P 500 up 7. And shares of Lyft getting a lift in the extended session after the ride-sharing company announced that it's bringing in a new chief executive and removing its co-founders from running Lyft on a day-to-day basis. Former Amazon and Microsoft executive and current Lyft board member David Risher will be taking over the helm. And shares of Roku popped after an analyst at Susquehanna Financial called the streaming platform a prime beneficiary of connected TV. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Do you want to know what's trending now? You can defer payments of a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months. No payments and no interest for 6 months. This is a big deal. NetSuite by Oracle has never made an offer like this in its 22 years as the leading cloud financial system. 33,000 companies have already upgraded to NetSuite, gaining visibility and control over their financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. Everything they need to reduce manual processes, boost efficiency, build forecasts, and increase productivity across every department. In fact, almost 90% of finance leaders agree that NetSuite helps them reduce manual data entry time. Whether your business generates millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, take advantage of this special financing offer of no payments or interest for 6 months at netsuite.com/quick. That's netsuite.com/quick. netsuite.com/quick.
Identities released. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Nashville police released more information on the victims and the suspect in this morning's shooting at an elementary school.
Nashville police spokesman Don Aaron says the 3 children who died,
Evelyn Dickhouse, William Kinney, Hallie Scruggs,
were 8 and 9 years old. The 3 adults were all full or part-time staff.
Mike Hill, a custodian, age 61, Cynthia Peak, to my understanding, a substitute teacher, age 61, and Catherine Kuntz, age 60.
Kuntz is listed on the Covenant School website as head of the school. Police say Audrey Hale was the woman who killed them before being shot dead by officers. A motive is still unclear, but police believe this was a targeted attack.
Fox's Colonel Scott police say they found a map of the school and what they're calling a manifesto at the suspect's home. Investigators in West Reading, Pennsylvania, continue to look for the cause of a deadly explosion Friday at a chocolate factory that leveled part of the building. The blast killed 7 people at the R.M. Palmer plant.
We are closely working with emergency response teams, environmental experts, and construction professionals to ensure that the cleanup is done safely, efficiently, and with minimal impact on the surrounding community.
Police Chief Wayne Holben, authorities did not address reports that plant workers had detected an odor of gas before the explosion. The gas utility company said it had received no reports of a gas leak. OSHA investigators are at the site. The grand jury considering whether to indict former President Trump over reported hush money payments made to porn star Stormy Daniels heard from National Enquirer publisher and longtime Trump ally David Pecker today. They're expected to convene again Wednesday. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, Prime members. Top Fox shows like Fox News Hourly Update, The 5, Fox News Rundown, and hundreds of others are available ad-free with your Prime membership. To listen, download the Amazon Music app or visit amazon.com/Fox Hourly. With Amazon Music, you get access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts. Avoid the ads and listen to your favorite shows ad-free with the Amazon Music app or by visiting amazon.com/Fox Hourly. That's amazon.com/Fox Hourly.
Silicon Valley Bank has a new owner.
One of the biggest U.S. regional banks, First Citizens of Raleigh, North Carolina, is buying the deposits, loans, and branches of Silicon Valley Bank. Regulators took control of SVB on March 10th. The 17 former branches of SVB will be operating as a unit of First Citizens. The FDIC has been trying to auction off Silicon Valley Bank for about 2 weeks. It's been operating as Silicon Valley Bridge Bank. Federal regulators moved quickly to guarantee uninsured deposits at SVB. Jenny Cosola, Fox News.
Florida enacts what its governor calls the largest expansion of school vouchers in the nation.
Okay, well, now it's time to make it official, so you guys...
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis at Miami's Christopher Columbus High, a Catholic school, signs a new law delivering what he calls universal school choice, expanding availability of funds to attend schools other than public ones.
And it does that by eliminating the current financial eligibility restrictions and allowing any student who's a resident of Florida and is eligible to enroll in K-12 to participate in school choice scholarships.
The law grants $8,000 per student for tuition or other learning expenses. In Broward County, Florida, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Philadelphia water officials say they have seen no sign of contamination so far, but continue to monitor things closely following a chemical spill into the Delaware River in a neighboring county. Bucks County health officials say a leak late Friday evening at a chemical facility in Bristol Township spilled between 8 and 12,000 gallons of water-based latex finishing solution. Officials say it's non-toxic to humans and no known adverse health effects have been reported in the county. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
Do you want to know what's trending now? You can defer payments of a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months. No payments and no interest for 6 months. This is a big deal. NetSuite by Oracle has never made an offer like this in its 22 years as the leading cloud financial system. 33,000 companies have already upgraded to NetSuite, gaining visibility and control over their financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. Everything they need to reduce manual processes, boost efficiency, build forecasts, and increase productivity across every department. In fact, almost 90% of finance leaders agree that NetSuite helps them reduce manual data entry time. Whether your business generates millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, take advantage of this special financing offer of no payments or interest for 6 months at netsuite.com/Fox. That's netsuite.com/Fox. netsuite.com/Fox.
Hey, welcome back, Southern Liberty. Appreciate y'all for hanging out for a little bit here. We're going to get to our feature presentation. But before we do, make sure if you're not subscribed to the show, make sure you do your Google search, Yandex search, whatever search you use in the world, whatever you feel like. Type in Southern Liberty. And then find the podcast platform you like. And then hit subscribe. That's all you got to do. Is that easy, man. If you have not done it by now, man, what you waiting for? You're already here. If you're listening to me, you're already here. Just hit the subscribe. That's all you got. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's that easy. Quick and easy. Easy as 1, 2, 3. That's all. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm being funny, but I'm being real too. Right? I'm being real too. You know what I mean? Yeah, you make sure y'all share this and all that good stuff. Y'all know the things. I know how to do it. I love y'all for coming through as always. So the House has advanced the Parental Bill of Rights Act, H.R. 5. And this bill is to ensure the rights of the parents are honored and protected in the nation's public schools. You know what's funny is the vote, 213 to 208.
Yeah.
213 to 208. 14 people not voting on said bill.
Yeah.
10 of them were Democrats. All the Democrats voted against it. Just outright voted against it.
Well, of course, for them, it's a matter of obligation to vote against it.
Here's the thing, though, right? Here's the funny thing, right? When I'm looking at this vote total for this one, right? This one strikes out kind of odd, right? 203 Democrats done, right? There's a total of 200, right? There's a total of 213 Democrats in the House. This bill passed 213 to 208.
Yeah.
They could have shot this down. The Democrats, see, my Democrat voters, this is what you have to this is why we do this and catch these things to let you guys understand. You think the Republicans are your enemy and you think certain bills are bad, but when you look at the vote counts, the Democrats could have shut this all the way down. They had Republican help. They had five Republicans that said no. You add that 10 to that 203, that's 213. Plus 5 is, plus 5 is 213. It'd have been a dead tie. It'd have been a dead heat.
Yeah.
No, wait. Let me take it back. 14 not voting. No, 14 total not voting. No, it'd have been, if all the, okay, never mind. I'm gonna leave that alone. But still,
if the ones who had not voted had voted nay on this,
yep,
they would have defeated this bill easily.
Yep, but they didn't.
No.
This is the inside baseball people don't pay attention to when they're moving these bills around up on Capitol Hill. I just find it quite interesting. I'm curious of what Republicans said no, though. I'm gonna take a gander at it right now. What Republicans said no?
I'm looking at
Bucks.
Andy Biggs, really.
Yeah, Andy Biggs, Buck, Matt Gaetz, Lawyer, and Rosendale all voted against it. Yeah. I wonder what their reasoning would be for voting against it, though.
Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. I know that, there were, 3 amendments that were added to this bill. Okay. One requires that the local education agency discloses to the parents any videos or recordings of violent activity of which they are aware. The second amendment adds plans to eliminate college credit courses to the list of required disclosures.
Mm-hmm.
And the third amendment that was debated, let's see here, revises the bill to include the right to timely notice of any major cyber attack against their child's school that may have compromised student or parent information. And that one passed by a very large margin, 422 ayes to 5 noes. So
right, yeah, you know what amendment struck me as interesting that they struck down was Thomas Massey's.
Yeah.
Right? Thomas Massey's amendment to this bill, it sought to add a sense of Congress that the authority of the Department of Education and Secretary of Education to operate or administer any office or program related to elementary or secondary education should be terminated on or before February 31st, 2023. See, Thomas Massey's up to his tricks again. He tried to slide in to get rid of the Department of Education, but he slid it into an amendment. Kind of like what Democrats do. They're sliding in an amendment to do some shit, to mess some stuff up. And Thomas Massey just tried a Democrat trick. Unfortunately, it was literally shut. I'm surprised at the vote count, right?
Yeah.
Because let me see if I can find a vote count on that amendment, because I find it to be interesting.
On that amendment, it was 161 ayes to 265 noes.
Yeah. So those of you cheering Republicans and all that good stuff, there was 60 Republicans that said no. 60 that said no to this amendment to shut down the Department of Education.
Now, there were three other amendments that were struck down on this.
Mm-hmm.
One was introduced by McCormick, and it sought to establish parents' rights to be informed of non-curriculum-based initiatives and events, and allows parents to opt in their children to such initiatives and events.
Mm-hmm.
The next two were introduced by Chip Roy. One sought to allow Title I funds to follow the student to the school they attend. Yes. Unfortunately, that was struck down by a vote of 113 to 311. And the last amendment that was introduced and struck down sought to ensure that all funds made available under the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 after the date of the enactment shall be consolidated and awarded to each state.
And that would have been a good one. And that was even that was crazy struck down. Like 83 A's to 331 no's. Like I something like that to reallocate. But see, here's the thing, right?
They don't want the states to be in control of that.
No, and that kind of goes back to Thomas Massey's amendment that he wanted to basically say, "Oh, guess what? You're out of the jurisdiction of elementary and secondary education. Sorry, you need to stay with your public universities, et cetera. You got to stay with them because those are ours, right? Yep. Send those public schools back down to the states where they're supposed to be." And then Chip Roy's amendment would have been like, "Well, the money you've collected from taxpayers, you need to send that back." Too. Yeah. That's what Chip Roy's amendment would have done. They sent that back. But see, again, right? It's bills like this, right? And those of you that are like diehard conservative, diehard Republican, well, I say conservative, diehard Republican, right? Mm-hmm. And you're cheering on the red team. And this is the stuff right here that exposes the red team. Your own red team members is exposing other red team members for being statist.
Yep, they are. And they're making sure their names are down.
Yep.
Because they're calling for votes on these.
Yeah. So, I mean, people can take that with a grain of salt or what have you, but it's written in the pudding right here. We're reading it. What else we got going on? Oh, that's it. That's it as far as legislation. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the Supreme Court. Abortion is back in the news, y'all. Mm-hmm. Abortion is back in the news. There was a case that came out of Missouri. Yep, I said it right, Missouri, right? And the lawsuit was that the county clerk, Michelle Chapman, violated a 17-year-old pregnant teenager's rights. A minor, the law is saying a minor is required under state law in Missouri to obtain parental permission to receive an abortion, but it also allows a minor to seek a court order bypassing that requirement. When the teenager went to the courthouse in 2018 to secure such a bypass, the clerk said that she would have to let the teenager's parents know about the hearing. The teenager eventually went to Illinois to receive a judicial bypass and obtain an abortion. 2 federal courts rejected Chapman's claim that she was immune from the lawsuit. Now, this is what's happening in the United States. Children can go seek a court order without their parents to bypass them to kill a child. Mm-hmm. This is where we are.
Well, and the thing is Chapman never said that she was notifying them to get their consent for the abortion.
Right.
Just that she had to notify them of the hearing.
Right. Right. Because what people don't understand, we talked about it, last week about the parent-child tort immunity? We talked about that. Right?
Yeah.
And this is where this kind of falls into, too. Right? Falls right here.
Well, Ketanji Brown Jackson was the only dissenting voice on this case.
Yeah.
And the reason she was concerned about it was the fact that I'm not sure that I understand why, because it doesn't make any sense to me. As far as I'm concerned, Chapman was well within her rights to tell the teenager, no, I do have to notify your parents, because you're a minor, of this hearing. We're not obtaining consent either way. What we're doing is we're notifying the parents that this hearing is going to occur because you're still a minor.
Right.
And this is a legal proceeding.
Yep. That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct.
So I'm not sure why Jackson decided to focus on the use of or vacator.
Yeah.
She's saying which a case is vacated because it's become moot while pending review by a higher court, unless the party adversely impacted by the initial decision is not to blame for the mootness. Well, I understand that part, but I don't see that this had anything to do with the Munsingware vacator.
No, not at all. Because the thing here is, right, and I think this might have escaped Judge Brown or her law clerk that helped write this dissent, right? Because most of the law clerks pre-write the dissent, and then the Supreme Court justice comes add something in, right? That's usually how that works, right? But a minor is still protected by the parent-child tort immunity. They're still protected under that, which means still under the child's care. You're into a contract lawsuit with a government entity without my parents. She was I don't care what those two federal judges said. Oh, she's not immune. Yes, she is immune because she has to proceeding. She has to inform her of that. It's no different, right?
Yeah.
It's no different than the child advocates in the schools, right? And how they tried to pull that move where, we can get a guardian ad litem if your child says this. No, it was found that you still have to notify the parent of such child entering into a legal contract with a government.
Yeah.
People seem to forget this.
And I think that whoever wrote the initial dissent forgot about it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it like I said, Jackson's argument makes sense. At least not as far as I can tell.
Right. It has no merit to me. It is what it is. But is this a setup for a future case? Probably something coming in. Probably something on the shadow docket. She probably sees on her shadow docket that's coming. So she's setting that precedent right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. So y'all be very aware that there may be something on the shadow docket that's coming up for abortion.
Could very well could be. Come on, minors should not be having, because here's the thing, right? And let's go again. Let's go through the whole thing, right? If you're going to petition a court to bypass parental consent, you need to just be emancipated. That's it. Exactly. That's a done deal. Exactly. Because guess what? If that child goes to another state, has an abortion, has complications, it's on those parents.
Yes.
For the care of that child, and 9 times, and I don't know how medical insurance or health insurance would deal with that kind of issue, but I would think some insurances would deem that as negligence and won't pay anything, or you have to drop that person from your insurance. I don't know. I have to talk to someone how that would work if there's potential, something can be deemed negligent. And if it is, how is that handled? Because now she comes back, she's been scoped out. Now she's having other problems with her reproductive area, right?
Yeah.
Now the insurance companies are on the hook for that because the child bypassed the parent.
I don't know. I honestly do not know about that from a health insurance perspective. I was involved in property insurance and casualty insurance, not with health insurance. So
it'd be interesting. I'll have to talk to some people and see what I can do.
That would be interesting to find out, because it's like, if it's something covered by insurance, then you should be able to go back on it.
Hey, look.
So I don't know.
Look, check this out. You want to hear something sinister? Something that just dropped into my lap here a second ago. You want to hear something real sinister?
What?
Check this out. You remember the hearing with Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberg? They're in front of the subcommittee for weaponization of federal government.
Yeah.
Did you know the IRS went to Matt Taibbi's house while he was testifying in that hearing?
Do what?
You heard what I said. I said what I said.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and the IRS agent shows up at Matt Taibbi's house while he's testifying. Give me the green light. I'm ready to go right now.
Well, I'm curious as to why the IRS is suddenly interested in Matt Taibbi.
Look, those 80 again. Let's go back. Oh, those 81,000.
87,000. Yeah,
they're
87,000
nothing.
agents.
They're nothing.
Yeah.
Call them bitch boys for the government to come harass you to conformity.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, this was dropped into the laps of Taibbi and Schellenberger and a couple of others. And even if, and I'm saying this, even if they were paid for this, and I don't think they were. I don't think there's been any payment forthcoming. I think they just broke the story. Even if they were paid for it, taxes are not due until April 15th.
Well,
why would the IRS be visiting him now?
But this was based on a 2018 return. But here's the funny thing, right?
Yeah, right.
Here's something we have to question, right? When did the IRS start dispatching agents for surprise house calls? Now, because if the IRS, right, if the IRS, right, check it out, if the IRS wants to audit a return, what do they usually do? They
send you a certified letter.
And schedule a meeting with you. They just don't drop in.
They go. Right? You go to their office. They don't come to your house.
But here's what's interesting. Here's what else is interesting too, right? The FTC is demanding that Twitter turn over the names of journalists that helped with the Twitter files, and et cetera. Yeah, the FTC is asking for that.
That's not their business. That's not their business at all. Twitter is a private entity.
I mean, look. Again, we talked about at the start of the hour, right? We talked about it at the start of the hour, right? The how there is no coincidences when it comes to government. It is well thought out and played. You hear what I'm saying, y'all? And I'm waiting for them to show up at Barry Weiss's house because she did the Twitter files too.
She did the Twitter files too. So did Michael Schellenberg. You know, the thing that really gets me on all of this, Barry Weiss, Matt Taibbi, Michael Schellenberg, they're not conservatives, folks.
No, not in the least.
No.
No.
They're not on the conservative side of anything. Honest journalist? Absolutely. I enjoy reading, especially Matt Taibbi's work. I enjoy reading.
Yeah.
But he is very definitely liberal. When the government starts to eat its own, that's a problem.
Yeah. This is disturbing.
Look, there's a lot going on that's disturbing. I was reading an article. One of Rand Paul's staffer was stabbed.
Yeah, isn't that ironic too? Rand Paul got stabbed.
Well, one of his staffers was stabbed in Washington, D.C. this past weekend.
Saturday, I think I remember correctly.
Yeah, in broad daylight.
Look. Seth Rich was done in broad daylight too.
Yeah, he was.
Listen to what I'm saying, yo. Seth Rich was done in broad daylight.
Yep.
I think our show should have been calling out the corrupted federal government. I think.
Because it seems like it's getting more and more corrupt as the days go by.
Oh, we don't weaponize the agencies. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. This look. Well, remember Miss Cal when they said, "Oh, Rod, you should run for president," and I said I would be dead on day 2.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all believe me now? You believe me now when I say that?
Yeah.
Anybody with any common sense gets into the White House, they're gonna try everything they can to take you out. They're gonna use ricin, anthrax, all kinds of crap to take you out because you messing with their agenda.
Ricin and anthrax, hell, they have drones, Rod.
I know they got drones with directed energy
death by
beams.
droning.
Yeah, death by droning. Wouldn't that be a new thing? A new leftism? What was it called? Presidenting while black. Man, I'm a victim of presidenting while black. They shot my ass.
But no, Rand Paul confirmed that the victim of the stabbing incident was a member of his congressional staff. So it's one of those things, they're asking for privacy, so they're not going to give the person's name. But yeah, the suspect has been arrested, a 42-year-old native of Washington, D.C.
So is that a cue for me to go look see who it is?
No, I really would rather not have them outed on our show because it's one of those things that they need. Privacy is one of those things. Privacy, I don't want them harassed. You somebody saying, "Oh, well, somebody should have done a better job." Because that's
no.
The kind of attitude people have now.
Look. When you do things, you have no reasonable expectation of privacy.
Oh, no. I was talking about the staff.
Oh, no. Yeah, not the staff.
Yeah, no. The person arrested was Glenn Neal, 42.
Yep. Glenn Neal, yep.
Arrested in Southeast. I'm sorry, he's a Southeast D.C. native, is what they say here.
Ooh.
And they charged him with assault with intent to kill, in parentheses, knife. So he intended to kill the staffer.
Look, yeah, because he stabbed her in the head and the torso.
Yeah. And they're saying that this was a targeted attack.
Yeah.
This was not random, y'all.
Look, check this out, Miss Kel. I'm going to go there. Can I go to the crayon box a second? Can I go to the crayon box?
Go for it.
I bet she's a white dude.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Why do I say that? Why do I say that?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Why would I say that, though?
I don't know. Because they're going after one of Rand Paul's people.
No.
Why?
His picture's not plastered all over the place.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Right?
In the articles, they show a picture of Rand Paul. They don't show a picture of the suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. If it were a black guy, they'd show the photos.
Yep, and they'd be all running them all down through there, right? Like the pictures of the Nashville shooter just started coming out. Like,
and most of the photos that I had seen were photos of this person as a child.
Yep, that's right. Yep, that's
when they were attending the school.
Right, and he's like, oh, you look at the picture they portray. He's such an innocent, but motherfucker rolled up. Mofo had help rolling up into a school to shoot people. What you mean? He had such a wholesome life? No.
No, it don't work that way.
This is not what we're doing today.
Nope. But that's what they think we're doing.
Look here. Look here.
Well,
we're, you know? Hey, lions and tigers and bears. Oh, my.
My.
Hey, we're going to end with this here. We've all known for a long time the federal government is corrupt.
Uh-huh.
We've known that these people getting the power to use those levers of power to impose their fascism upon the people, right? And they got the small pockets of people like the Antifas, the BLMs, the MAGA, and all that crap fighting amongst each other, fighting for the same statism. Mm-hmm. While we're sitting over here like, y'all a bunch of fools. You don't know you're being controlled by the government. And then being proxied. Then being proxied out. Like, that's the crazy part. How do you not realize you're being proxied and outsourced? You know what I mean? Like the MAGA thing, for example. The MAGA thing served its purpose for the federal government. Now they got, what is that group called? The Patriot Front. Now Patriot Front has emulated the MAGA movement, and they're going around doing stupid shit. Like hopping out of the back of U-Hauls in the middle of Idaho. Like, huh?
All of them wearing khakis and polo shirts. And, oh, yeah. Spiffy boys, like we can't tell. Feds all over that one.
I'm just saying. And look, Antifa, I've come to the realization that Antifa is the white BLM.
Yeah.
Right? The thing is that this is how they get by with the violence they do, because if the Antifa is mixed with the BLM, right, they can do the violence in the name of black people, social justice for black people, and there's no accountability.
Yeah.
So these groups, like these Antifas and groups like them, always run that undercurrent, right, and using quote unquote what would be so-called black issues, air quotes, y'all. A lot of air quotes. Like I'm floating on cloud 999,999.9 cloud.
He looks like he's flapping his wings in there, you know?
Yeah, right. To virtue signal and get brownie points with the government. Look, pick me.
Like I said, performative justice. It's not racial justice, it's performative justice.
It's performative. Someone needs to pull out the cane and yank him off the stage.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my darling.
And look,
Clementine.
Look, and I hope they break their leg, literally.
Yeah, right. God. You know, it just... It gets me every time I think about it, because it's like, people want to be identified by their group, not by their individuality. And that's just, to me, that's disturbing as hell. You want to call yourself Antifa? Fine, go for it. Pantifa.
Whatever you want to call it. Just
whatever you want to call it.
Look, don't bring your bullshit over here. And we are going to go. You bring your bullshit over here. You want to, you just might meet your maker. I'm trying to tell you now how this going to go down.
And if you bring your friends, you'll be taking an honor guard with you.
Honor guard. Yeah, I like that. Honor guard. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Honor guard. They're going to carry your spirit away. Yes, Lord. Anyway, thank you, Ms. Cat. We got to get up out of here, let the people go.
Yes,
hey, I appreciate y'all coming through. Make sure y'all come through tomorrow evening for the experience today with me and Miss Val. Again, I'm going to say what I always say. I don't know what it's going to be until tomorrow. So she going to hit me with her best shot. Boop, boop, tomorrow sometime. And I got to come up with something. But I kind of like that. I like having to come up with things because I don't get stuck in the box. You know what I mean? So a bad mind is a hard thing to waste. But anyway, hey, until next time, y'all. Life, love, liberty, and happiness. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Southern Liberty Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Post about it on social media. Subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.bpmg.us. or leave a rating and review on iTunes. To catch all the latest from Roderick, you can follow him on social media at manofjustice007. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.